We've previously talked about the slate for Chapter 1 of the DC Universe. Well, I'm Troy from Marks on Movies, and today we're talking about much more to come from James Gunn's DCU. Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to be notified whenever we post brand new videos. Now, on with the story. The link to the article I'm referencing from CBR.com can be found in the video description. DC Studios has revealed less than half of its Chapter 1 slate. James Gunn revealed that the already announced film and TV projects for his DCU represent less than half of Chapter 1 slate DC Studios has planned. According to DC Studios co-CEO and creative head James Gunn, the list of projects announced in January 2022 as part of the new rebooted DC universe are only a fraction of what the studio has planned for its first phase. Responding to a fan on Twitter who asked how much of the Chapter 1 slate had been revealed to the public, Gunn shared that it was less than half. The first phase of the reboot, titled Gods and Monsters, saw Gunn and co-CEO Peter Safran reveal the first 10 projects of the slate, which included live-action and animated series as well as feature-length films. Check out his tweet reply here. You can follow James Gunn on Twitter @JamesGunn. The first 5 movies of the slate are Superman Legacy 2025, The Authority, The Brave and the Bold, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Swamp Thing. As for the series, fans can look forward to Creature Commandos, Waller, Lanterns, Paradise Lost, and Booster Gold. Gunn's Young Superman movie was one of the first controversial moves made by the new studio heads, as it will mean a new, younger actor replacing Henry Cavill in the iconic role. While the project already has a release date of July 11, 2025, and a writer in the form of Gunn himself, there has been no news yet on who will be taking on the blue and red suit. I will say that I'm not happy still about Henry Cavill being replaced, but I'm cautiously optimistic about this Superman movie, which I'll talk about later. I don't know if this is I will say it's not a typical James Gunn type film or story here with Superman, so we'll have to see how it turns out with all this. I am kind of anxious to see who the hell they cast as a young Superman. It's obviously a new direction for Superman. It depends on how young they're going. Are we talking like, if you're going off of like Smallville, he said it's not going to be like an origin story, so it's going to be like, if we're going to use the show Smallville as a jumping off point, it's going to be like right after he leaves Smallville and comes to Metropolis and becomes Superman and starts working for the Daily Planet. Is it going to be something like that? And if so, I really don't know what actor they're going to cast in this role. All the actors that I'm thinking of are in their like late 30s or 40s, so it'll be interesting to see who he pulls out. Henry Cavill was obviously the perfect Superman. I don't know what direction James Gunn is going to take this, though. He said he wants it to be more of a traditional Superman story. I'm excited to see it. I don't know. And I will say, though, I am glad that they're using that as a jumping-off point for the new DCU. Superman should be the center of the DCU. He should have always been the center of the DCU. They tried doing it last time with Man of Steel basically being the first movie, but they quickly fumbled the ball. Continuing on with the article, though, what about the DCEU? The future of the remaining DC Extended Universe stars are still up in the air, with Jason Momoa possibly playing Lobo after Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom, Ezra Miller facing a variety of legal issues ahead of The Flash's premiere. There are still a number of DC Extended Universe movies to get to before Gunn's slate kicks off, with the next, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, arriving in theaters on March 17th. Gunn has previously shared that Fury of the Gods sets up for The Flash, which will in turn lead directly into the soft reboot of the universe. Not everyone is happy with the new direction of the studio under Gunn and Safran. Arrowverse co-creator Mark Guggenheim recently shared that he was upset not to be asked for any input. Quote, "Not a job, mind you, a meeting, a conversation, a small recognition of what I'd tried to contribute to the grand tapestry that is the DC Universe. I'd only spent 9 years toiling in that vineyard after all," the screenwriter and producer behind Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Green Lantern 2011 had said. I kind of get where he's coming from on one hand, but on the other hand, Gunn and Safran are trying their own thing. They don't want any retreads, really. And, I mean, it had some fan acclaim, sure, but how many fans? The CW, for as much as people know what happened there, didn't really watch. I mean, WB themselves said that the CW never made them money. Ever. And a lot of those shows ended up getting canceled. Sure, Arrow did really well, The Flash did well, some of the other shows had their followings, but all in all, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, a giant commercial success that made a crap ton of money for Warner Brothers. But either way, back to the story. Many other writers with superhero history have been drafted as part of Gunn's creative team, including DC Comics writer Tom King, Moon Knight and the Umbrella Academy's Jeremy Slater, Watchmen's Crystal Henry, Birds of Prey and The Flash's Christina Hodson, and Daredevil's Drew Goddard. Gunn has revealed that this team is helping him craft the first 2 chapters of the DCU, suggesting that the currently announced 10 projects represent a very small part of the current plans. I think it's cool that he's bringing in somebody from actual DC Comics to help with these. I don't know if we've ever really seen anything like that before from DC or Marvel, so I really like that idea. I was a fan of Moon Knight, despite what anybody else said. I thought that show was one of the more original things we'd seen out of Marvel in a long time. I did a short about it. I thought it was a pretty cool story, so, and the Umbrella Academy is fantastic. I love that show, and I'm really hoping they get another season out of that. So bringing in a writer from those shows, I think is a good idea. The Watchmen was absolutely unwatchable. It sucked. I don't know why they're bringing in anybody who was even within sniffing distance of that show. I don't think that's smart whatsoever. Keeping somebody that worked on Birds of Prey and The Flash, I guess, is a smart move. Birds of Prey obviously bombed at the box office and did embarrassingly bad. I kind of enjoyed the movie. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I liked it. So I think it had potential. And I've yet to see The Flash yet, but people are saying that it's good, that, has seen screeners of it and whatever, so that's pretty cool. And I'm assuming when they say Daredevil that they're talking about the Netflix Daredevil show, which was one of the greatest superhero representations on the big or small screen that I think we've ever seen ever. Daredevil was a fantastic show. I was really upset when they canceled it. Obviously, they're bringing it back on Disney Plus with the new Daredevil Reborn show, which is most likely going to get Disney-fied and, get the same old Marvel treatment, which I'm not really looking forward to. But I've had some of my worries quelled recently because they did say they're bringing back Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. So the fact that they're going to have the Punisher in the show leads me to think maybe they're going to get more darker PG-13, maybe even R-rated with a Disney Plus show. I really hope so, because Disney Plus hasn't been doing well at all, and Marvel has been floundering for the most part. So maybe if they go back to, what worked with Daredevil in not only the Netflix show, but in the comics, then I think it'll be a smash success. They're also bringing in Jenna Ortega in an unannounced role, so that'll be cool. But either way, as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm hesitantly and skeptically optimistic about all this. I will admit that I'm excited to see the storyline that they have in mind for the Green Lanterns, the Batman stuff, Swamp Thing, and Booster Gold. The Supergirl and Paradise Lost movies and shows may be fine, but the rest of this stuff, I'm suspect at best about it. For the rest of Chapter 1, I'd honestly love to see Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa return as Wonder Woman and Aquaman, respectively, because they did a great job in their roles, and I honestly enjoyed their first movies. Wonder Woman 84, not so much. I guess we'll have to see where Aquaman 2 leaves off, but I think there's much more that could be done with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. Also, those two characters are part of the main DC slate and core that people really know and love. They're definitely wanted and needed, so as much as I hope they keep the same actors, I mean, as long as they keep the characters and they recast them, I guess, but I still love those two actors in those roles. Considering Marvel is going full in with the multiverse, I'm not sure DC should be jumping into that part of the DC multi-world stuff just yet, and it doesn't look like they are in Chapter 1, calling it Gods and Monsters, so that's cool. Although they are definitely setting up for something like that with the Flashpoint story, and rebooting a ton of this cinematic universe. Either way, comment with what you think of this slate of Chapter 1 that we know about so far. What are you wanting to see for the rest of Chapter 1, or even the Chapter 2 that they're supposedly working on right now? Also, are you optimistic about this reboot of the DCU or not? Share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to be notified every time we post brand new content. I'm Troy from Marks on Movies. I'll see you next time.